Hey, so this is going to be my analysis video of the yet unreleased Woojer Vest. It's scheduled for a September release, so probably about a month from when this video goes live. But before I start, I just want to point out a quick observation that I've made, and that is on my YouTube channel, I get a significantly more dislikes on the videos that feature Woojer products, and I think that's just because subpack people come in and they're like, "Oh, subpack's better. This is better, that is better." And I just want to point out that without Woojer, I don't think there would be any competition in this market whatsoever. I think subpack would know that, and that they would not feel any pressure to create newer, better products. And I think the X1 is almost entirely due to the fact that they have competition in this market. So if you don't like Woojer products, that's fine. I won't tell you your opinion is wrong. But without them, there wouldn't be competition, and we wouldn't be seeing this fight between the two companies that ultimately always benefits the consumer, which is you. So I just want to get that out there. So let's start by having a look at the actual thing. Personally, I think it looks much better than the original one. Not necessarily that the original one was bad, because it just kind of had this gamery type orange accent to it, and it looked a little bit unfinished, but I never thought it looked bad. But seeing this new version now, I think it's significantly better. It just looks more professional, you know? By the way, I'm going to be referencing this Indiegogo page, which they used to fund the original vest, and this is where I'm going to get a lot of my statistics from. I'll have both these pages linked in the description if you want to take a look. Let's keep going down. I like the fact that they're kind of advertising towards gamers, because the fact that this does surround sound feeling is really its main selling point, and why I think that this product and the subpack products can coexist, because they're very different. So I like that this is the first bullet point on this page, right? So this is their core demographic that they're going for. Virtual reality. I've seen subpack do a lot less advertising for virtual reality stuff on that X1 page, but if you've seen my other video, you know that page is not very good for advertising. But this is something to consider, especially considering like the Atmos kind of surround audio you get from VR games. This would obviously be a very good companion for that kind of experience. Then just more, advertising speak. Then they go for music, which is interesting because subpack kind of advertise music above everything else. Interesting to note. So moving on, here's some more slide, just awful slide photos. They look so compressed, and it's like watching a slideshow go on. But I mean, look at that. I think it looks excellent. Is it as good as the X1? In my opinion, no. I think the X1 is like this thing from the future that fell out of it, an alien spaceship or something. But this looks much more kind of refined and civilized, if you know what I mean. More advertising. So here's some of the interesting things I've found. They've actually reduced the frequency range of this compared to the original. The original was advertised as having a frequency response of 10 to 250. This says 1 to 200, and this is fantastic. I am so glad that they made this change, because this extra 50 on the 200 end, you actually don't feel. It's more like a hum, right? You don't really feel it in your body. But this 10 that's going down to 1, you are going to feel that. That is going to be absurd. That is going to be bone shaking. Your teeth are going to chatter, right? This is a fantastic change. I wish I knew what the X1's frequency range was, but we don't know. So I'll have to wait for that to come out. Other than that, it looks like they've upgraded the Bluetooth to 5.0. That's, bare minimum. That's exactly what I'd expect, which is very good. And looks like they've possibly switched out the headphone amplifier and made it a little bit better. Of the previous generation, one of my complaints that was across both of those devices were that the amplifiers were really noisy, and it really hurt the experience. And obviously all of that on top of the fact that it looks like it's a slightly different design. Personally, I don't see how they could have changed it that much, because you need these two on the front, the two in the back, and the two on the side. This is kind of the only way I can see them doing that. And to be honest, this is much more of what I was expecting the next subpack to be. This is like The Vest was the iPhone 6, and the Vest Edge is like the iPhone 6S. It's better, it's got newer features, it's a bit refined, but ultimately it's not a completely different product. It's not like going from the iPhone 8 or 9 or whatever it was to the 10. It was a big jump, and that's what Subpac's done. So moving on, Texas Instruments analog amp. I had no idea. I thought they just built calculators. This is brand new news to me. TRS mic input. Interesting. You might be able to have like a gaming headset on that has a mic on it that you can actually connect through the system. That would be pretty cool. Then we've got low Bluetooth, that's just 5.0. That's not necessarily low. It might be. I'm not sure what the standard is. USB-C audio in. Fantastic. Let's hope it can be powered like that, because in my old video, previous video, I said that you could basically just run this thing forever, right? It would get its connection, low latency connection through USB-C, and it would power it at the same time. That would be cool. Now, low energy Bluetooth for future firmware updates. This is something that Woojer did that Subpac didn't. Woojer have actively put out software updates to some of their products, which Subpac doesn't. I always found that interesting, and another way that sets them apart. In my experience, I would probably say if your product has to have or can have a software update, it usually means there might be something wrong with it, which means that they're not completely confident in their product. Unlike Subpac, because they don't give you, they don't make you update it. But then again, this means it could be improved as to what it already was. So I don't really know who to give the upper hand to on that one. It's got a rechargeable battery, obviously. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean anything to me just because we don't have the X1 to compare it to. Charge time, yep, USB-C charging, 8 hours. Okay, so it looks like they're targeting the exact same duration of the X1, which is totally fine with me. Auto power off. Interesting. I'm not sure if the one that I have behind me actually has that as a feature. Yeah, very interesting. So this is really big to me. This was like the biggest change that I saw. It advertises a weight of 4.5 pounds. Now that seems like a lot, but I went over to their Indiegogo page and I found out the original was 5.5 pounds. That's a full, almost 1 pound difference. Again, I don't know how much the X1 weighs, so I can't really, compare the two equally. But at least compared to the previous one, if you've had a previous one, this should be significantly lighter. Way lighter, which I think is great. Because, if you're going to be wearing this for VR applications and moving around stuff. It looks like the old one had a bigger battery, actually. That's very interesting. That's pretty significant too. That's like 33%, 35, 40% difference. But it still says 8 hours. So it looks like they've increased efficiency, which means that they may have increased the efficiency of the transducers in the device. Very interesting. So, okay, this is the end of the page here. Let's see what happens when we go. Oh, that just brings us up. Okay. So I think we can get some more information if we go to the actual advertising page. The one thing that this new one is lacking that the other one had was this mounting capability that you can mount a PC to it and, move around in VR while wearing your computer. I always thought that was very Kickstarter-y. You know what I mean? Like like in theory, you can't really critique it. It's kind of cool, but in practice, you know that it wouldn't be very good. And so this is the advertising page. Yeah, there's no real extra information on this. So it's interesting. They both simultaneously give me much more information and give me much less than Subpac did on the X1. So I guess that's it. I don't want to make this one as long as the last one I made because that was half an hour long. But again, this is the iPhone 6S to the 6, whereas the X1 is an 8 to a 10. I hope most people understand what I mean by that. I'm not complaining though. I think it looks significantly better than the previous one. I think it should function better. I think it's absolutely an improvement, but I have to have my hands on it. These cost the same as the X1, so I think it's going to be a very close call, and I think I know who I'm going to advertise these to. Not advertise, but recommend. I think these are going to be a primarily gamer-focused Subpac type thing, while the sub pack is going to be almost everything else. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to reserve judgment until I can actually get one, and then I'll let you guys know. So I hope this was informative, and I hope you learned something. And I hope you feel more educated, because again, right now is the best possible time to buy one of these kind of physical base devices. And the crappy thing is, I don't have a conclusion for you yet. I can't say, oh, definitely get this one, or definitely get this one, or buy this one if you like this. I don't, because I don't have them. So we'll have to wait and see. I have pre-ordered one. I've said that in my last video. So I'll be getting this in about a month, which is a lot earlier than I'll be getting the X1. So who knows? Maybe that's going to sway people, because I'll like this significantly more than the old one, so people might get this one. I don't know. We'll have to see. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, see you later.